The digital production buzz at NAB is sponsored by Maxon and by Simply, a global distribution brand.
Right now, we're getting toward the end of the first day of the 2019 NAB Show, and we're still got good news to talk about, talking to Lumberjack System, Tiber Technology, Killer Tracks, and MTI Film. This is the buzz at NAB.
Live from the 2019 NAB Show in Las Vegas. Technology, products, media, news. Connecting media professionals around the globe with the latest in technology. The NAB Show Buzz starts now.
And welcome back to day one of the 2019 NAB Show. This is Larry Jordan. It's toward the end of the day, but I've got a great list of guests that I want to talk with this hour and hope that you'll enjoy it as well. We're going to start with a name that really needs no introduction, Philip Hodgetts, the president and CEO of Lumberjack System. Philip, welcome back.
Thank you, Larry.
I very much appreciate all of your help on the buzz, not just today, but in past years and past months. It's nice to finally say thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
I know that you've been spending your time cooped up in your own booth, but as you've walked the halls, has anything caught your attention?
LED lighting.
Really?
And
How so?
And big, really beautiful glossy panels. I mean, we're in the central hall, so that's that hall. But, 5 years ago, there were, niche players in LED lighting, a little bit like light panels particularly. They were a quality product, a fairly, expensive product. And what we've seen is that the cost of LEDs have come down, and so many more people are creating them in so many different styles and designs, soft, hard, spotlights. We've got the whole range.
We're seeing LED Fresnels, for heaven's sake.
Yes,
Who knew that was amazing? The other thing that surprises me is the quality of display. Some of these 10, 15, 16-foot displays just suck the eyes out of your head.
Yeah, and they're bright, and you walk up close to them, and they still look sharp even, 6 feet away. They look great.
A couple of years ago, we were seeing huge pixels, and now they're just invisible.
Yes, the first big, beautiful ones we saw that didn't look like globes glowing on the strip were, still quite coarse pixels, the very early generations of LEDs, and now they're like television quality.
Although I will confess that the standard for monitors at NAB is extreme oversaturation.
Oh, yes.
The colors here, they're leaking out the bottom and flowing across the carpet. Unbelievable stuff.
Everything looks better with the saturation turned up. It's a bit brighter.
Way up, yes. Philip, what's happening with Lumberjack System? What are you showing?
Well, I'm focusing mostly on Lumberjack Builder because that's new to everybody. Even though it's kind of not
what that is.
New to us. Lumberjack Builder is our text-driven NLE, and I need to explain what that is, and a little bit of background of why we created it. Back in 2015, we got transcripts into Final Cut Pro 10 for the O.J. Simpson documentary production crew, and they found that was very helpful. We looked at it and said, that's a terrible place to work with text. It's designed to work with audio and video in a timeline. It's not a great way to work with text. Even searching within the transcripts is a little clunky inside Final Cut Pro 10.
Take out the little, it's really clunky.
Okay, I was being kind.
Yes, I've tried it. The text transcripts inside Final Cut is not leading to its strength.
No, and it's not, and nor is it expected to, because it wasn't built for that. And a lot of people will get you transcripts into your NLE of choice, but nobody gives you a way of actually really working with that. And so that's the challenge that Greg and I set ourselves. We drew on a little app that we created in 2010 called Predit, pre-edit tool. It was created for our friend Serena Catania, actually, because it was her inspiration. Now, that was released just before 2011, and something happened in 2011 that made Final Cut Pro 7 software a little less desirable, and that never reached its true potential. And we didn't really work on it in the early days of Final Cut Pro 10 because we didn't have the turnaround times that made transcripts viable in an app that was about getting to the edit faster. That has all changed. So we not only have built an app that has built-in transcription, so you can either bring your own transcripts, or from within Builder you can order transcripts from our API. You pay for them as you use it. There's no pre-purchase of credits or anything like that going on. And then you start to work with them. You can add keywords if you want to. It's all optional. I recommend keywords, but then I'm Mr. Metadata, so I would.
Like metadata.
So I would. And we built a keyword manager because I think something that Final Cut Pro 10 really needs is to be able to manage the keywords globally. So you can work out all the keywords at a global level. So we check to make sure you haven't used the same, a similar but different keyword at different places.
Yeah, but you know, I like editing in Final Cut, or I like editing in Premiere, and now I've got to learn to edit in your program, and does that mean that I can't edit in Premiere or can't edit in Final Cut?
We'll leave the Premiere question aside for the moment. We'll come back to that in a minute. But yes, the idea is to have to do that first string up, that first radio cut that you would do in a text editor, and then some poor a video editor has to sit down and try and conform over 3 or 4 days what the producer has produced in the story. You don't really have to learn a new interface because I'm sure you've worked with the word processor.
Yes, I will confess to that.
Yes, so you know, if you can actually select text to make corrections, hit return, and drag paragraphs from one side of the screen to the other, or hit a key to do that, then you already have the interface under control.
So then what you're doing is you're essentially building an XML file, which can go into where?
It can go into Resolve or into anything that'll accept Final Cut Pro 10 XML.
So this is really just like a pre-edit.
Oh yes, we're always about pre-editing. I mean, the finishing work is still something that's done, you know, in something that is optimized for finishing video. You know, we have no color grading, we have no B-roll capability, we have none of that. This is a video editing app that does that. We don't build synchronized clips, we don't build multicam clips, but we will use the multicam clips that are built inside Final Cut. So it's a companion where we use the strengths of Final Cut Pro 10 and the strengths of what we've built that is not in that app.
As you describe, it's like editing video through a word processor.
It is exactly like that. It's kind of hard to get your head around until you see it working. It's like this storyline, this text column, is actually a video edit. And at any point you can play that video edit, you can select a subset range and change it. You can even, and this is the thing that I did for editors, you can even create temp voiceover within the application. All you do is just hit add temp voiceover, type in what you wanted to say, and then using the system voice and language of your choice, we will create an audio file that will transfer back into Final Cut. Plus you can export that, all of the temp narration, temp voiceover stuff into one file, so with timestamps, so that you can get that approved and recorded professionally. And you can print to PDF. There's a whole range of exports. Even you can do an MP4 preview straight out of that to say Frame.io.
Is there a limit to how many clips I pull in, so I can look at transcripts from a certain number of clips?
We haven't run into a limit yet. I'm sure there is a limit.
What's been the biggest reaction? What kind of feedback have you gotten from editors?
Those who use it those who have used it absolutely fallen in love with it. One of our users said that he will be going around NAB telling people they absolutely have to go and see Builder.
Well, I was just thinking, it's best, your application's best where audio is driving the story, as opposed to somebody that's doing something that's pure visual.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But you think about it, that's 90% of the video that's out there anyways. It's driven by dialogue, and it's driven by, or interviews are driven by the content of the interviews.
Yes. And I would love to do the Builder component of Lumberjack for Premiere Pro. But as much as I love my dear friends at Adobe, at this point there is no way of getting a multicam clip out of Premiere Pro as an active multicam clip. Not via XML, the XML export. And I understand the reasons why. I mean, Premiere Pro supports Final Cut Pro 6 XML, so it's kind of old school with the support of multicam, limited to one video per track and so on. We can get multicam into Premiere Pro, so the next feature we will be adding is an export to Premiere Pro. Because our good friends at Intelligent Assistants have this tool called Tend2CC that translates from Final Cut Pro 10 XML, and our good friends are kind of close, so...
Well, you know, if you just talk to the developers, I'm sure they can find a way to get that
I'm sure
to
we'll
happen.
find a way of getting a license or deal organized.
So as you're looking at it from an editing point of view, what trends are you looking at? What's the future?
I am very impressed with both the new Avid interface and also Resolve 16. I think they're both taking great steps forward, and they're really doing showing something new rather than just repeating what else has been done.
I've heard the same thing, and we had Avid on this morning talking about the new interface. For people that want to learn more about Builder and the other software that Lumberjack System has available, where can they go on the web? LumberjackSystemSingular.com. That's all one word, Lumberjack, as in thinking of trees, LumberjackSystem.com. And Philip Hodgetts is the president and CEO of Lumberjack System. And Philip, it is always a delight chatting. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you very much.
Have a great show.
Every year at the NAB Show, you'll find more than a few attendees camping out at the Maxon Cinema 4D booth all day. Why? because Maxon hosts presentations by the most respected 3D artists in visual effects, motion graphics, and design. This year, there will be 28 unique presentations from 21 different artists. Even if you're not attending NAB, you can watch all the Cinema 4D presentations streaming live at c4dlive.com. And if you register, you'll be entered into a raffle to win from over $20,000 in prizes. Can't watch live? No worries. All presentations will be made available on demand on the Maxon YouTube channel a few weeks after the show. Maxon Cinema 4D. Stop by Maxon's booth at NAB in South Lower 6324 or tune in to the live stream at c4dlive.com. That's C, the number 4, D, live.com.
Welcome back to the 2019 NAB Show. Larry Jordan here, talking with Bob Vassar. He's the Worldwide Vice President for Technology Sales and Service for Tiger Technology. Hello, Bob. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you, Larry.
I'm glad to have you take the time out because I've wanted to learn more about Tiger Technology. You guys have done some very interesting things, but explain to me what it is that you do.
So Tiger Technologies has been developing storage networking solutions for 15 years. We start with the Tiger Store product, which is a shared file system, supports Windows, Linux, Mac, high performance, fiber channel interconnects, low latency interconnects, as well as Ethernet. So we can have hybrid networks, you can have all LAN, a NAS, you can have all SAN. So we could cover the gamut, a very open platform, works with all of the editing platforms out there. You'll be able to do ingest, high-speed ingest, create simultaneously. We have a whole suite of tools that we've been working on, and the latest that we've had over the past couple of years, but really innovative, is the Bridge product, which integrates with Store and allows us to take content files on your shared file system and be able to migrate those based on policies to a disk in your facility, put those to the tape for backup or archive, or even go to cloud, private or public.
Well, I'm confused. Are you making the hardware that makes shared storage possible, or are you doing the software that runs on hardware? Give me a sense of where you fit in.
So Tiger, as a corporation, is a software company. So we develop the software that enables the workflows. We also do appliances, because some of our customers want a single appliance from Tiger Technologies. But customers are able to buy software-only solutions and build their own. We're very hardware agnostic. We've got a very robust worldwide channel, and some of our channel is actually built appliances based on Tiger technology.
But help me understand. If I own a Synology, which has got an operating system and sharing software, or if I own QNAP, that also has sharing, when would I use Tiger?
So Tiger Technology, you would need a shared requirement, tools that would want collaborative workflow. We've also got a Spaces product, which is a virtualization software that works with our storage platform, but it can work over a NAS platform or another storage network. It can combine the networks together. But think of it like as virtualizing a containerized project. So we can assign users, it lets admins manage those workspaces more efficiently. You can assign projects which map back to folders, and it sort of abstracts that hardware layer from the projects itself. So we can take entire projects and move that seamlessly by grabbing a project in a graphic user interface by the admin. You can evacuate aging storage, put it on primary storage. You can take projects and park them in a nearline archive and pull those into production at will, depending on your runs for the day.
Who do you see as a primary market for this? Is it a small work group? Is it the larger enterprise? Or where do your customers come from?
A bit of everything. So you can start as small as 64 terabytes run a little small 3-system NAS platform, get in very cost effectively and grow all the way to very large scale, uncompressed 4K type workflows, be post-production, it could be corporate. The Bridge product that we have, which is the HSM tiering platform.
HSM means what?
Hierarchical Storage Manager.
Which is what?
So it allows us to develop policies very simply based on aging, last access of files, file naming, capacity utilization, storage, and be able to migrate that for purposes of disaster recovery, replication. We can even go to collaboration. We've got multi-site capabilities. So that also gives us the ability to tier data based on admin policies, based on your project. So we can migrate that data into tape. And you got the full capabilities of a tape management system. You can migrate that to disk or a NAS or to any public or private cloud environment.
How is your software priced?
You can start at the 64 terabyte range and get into it for roughly a few $1,000s, and it really sky's the limit from there. So there's kind of no limit there.
So does Bridge work on top of your shared product, or do I get one or the other?
The nice thing is all of our utilities work seamlessly together. So you can do ingest, create, virtually manage projects, and add Bridge to that and get the HSM, or you can take individual pieces, if you will. So beyond media, Bridge takes Tiger into enterprise, small SMB environments. You can use Bridge standalone on top of sort of any sort of environment, mainly Windows Design Core, Windows NTFS, because it integrates directly into your file system, software only. It lets your applications work locally without really knowing or feeling like that data actually is placed somewhere else as far away as all the way across the world.
So you said something I didn't pay attention to earlier. This is a Windows-based. This is a Windows client-based application.
So the Bridge will integrate into a Windows NTFS file server, or you can build it as a gateway that can mount NFS or SMB shares. The Store product is a Windows NTFS core. We're the only company that is actually clustered and builds a shared file system around NTFS. But it supports Windows, Linux, and Mac clients.
So it's a Windows server, but I can have multiple units attached to it. Different operating systems attached to it.
Think of it as like your typical SAN storage, right? So the file system is NTFS, but your client doesn't really know or care that it's NTFS. So we have a driver that will load on the client that abstracts the underlying file system, but they mount it as a block device. Even over the network, they mount that with our client as a block device. So you get high performance over the LAN, you get multi-pathing, you get automatic failover. If your SAN high performance network disappears, we'll fail that. So you always have access to your data, whether it's over the high performance, low latency network or the IP and LAN.
To you, what is one of the most interesting facets of Tiger that you think customers don't know?
Really, I think it's the Bridge technology that we have today. The ability, since Tiger's been doing this for 15 years, a lot of people, you sort of know that Tiger does a shared file system. Many of them are interested in the spaces, the virtualization, but adding that Bridge layer to be able to tier data, to be able to control the expense on their SAN and manage that in the cloud.
That's very cool stuff. For people that want more information about the kind of products that Tiger Technology makes available, where can they go on the web?
They can go to www.tiger-technology.com.
Now, this is two separate words separated by a hyphen. That's Tiger, Tiger dash technology, tiger-technology.com. And Bob Vassar is the Worldwide Vice President for Technology Sales and Service for Tiger Technology. Bob, thanks for sharing some of your time today, and I wish you a very successful show.
Thanks for having me.
Take care.
You too.
From servers, we're moving into something totally different. we're going to talk music. And Andrew Donahue is the Director of Marketing for Killer Tracks. And Andrew, welcome back.
Thanks, Larry. It's good to see you. You know, servers, we need to store music somewhere, so that could be a good...
That's true, but it's much more interesting to listen to music than to listen to the hum of a server closet.
That's very true. It does definitely keep things moving.
So tell us about Killer Tracks. What do you guys, I mean, tracks I would assume is music, and I've already sort of given the cat out of the bag, is that you guys do music, but for people that may not have paid attention, what is Killer Tracks known for?
Yeah, Killer Tracks actually is in its 30th year. We
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. We license music for film professionals, media, corporate video, and we own the master and sync rights, so it's all in one cleared. You don't have to worry about putting it somewhere where it shouldn't or having something taken down off YouTube. So we control the rights forever, so you are always safe and don't have to worry about copyright issues.
Now, what happens if I use a Killer Tracks piece of music, and you guys make great tunes, and I post it to YouTube, and YouTube says it's a copyright violation? How can you help me get that fixed? Because YouTube is really notorious for being difficult to deal with.
They really do, and that's one thing that we really lean on is our service. We have a great relationship with them, and usually within a few hours we can get it back up, and it will not take away any views or anything. So
And you actually have people that people can talk to?
Yes, yeah, they do. We have they have a department within YouTube that we've worked with for a long time.
But Killer Tracks has people that people that use Killer Tracks music. I'm not calling it just a phone answering system that nobody ever picks up.
No, absolutely no. We have people from New York to L.A. from 9 to 5:30 p.m. So up to 8:30 on the East Coast, and as early as 6 in the morning in New York.
Hard to think about times that are that early.
Yeah.
So have you announced anything new for the show?
Yes, actually, we announced a extension panel for the Adobe Premiere Pro Creative Cloud video editing platform last year, and we've done some enhancements to it this year. And everybody knows if you do broadcast work, you have to make cue sheets and time in and time out of all the music used to report it. And so we've integrated a cue sheet solution into our extension for Adobe Premiere Pro. So when you're done, it's one click of a button, and it exports an XML with all the music used and makes a very, very huge time saver.
Oh, 2 gold stars for that. That is a huge task that everybody
Yes.
hates to do.
Absolutely. So not only can you search music just like you could on our website within Adobe Premiere, you can now just press one button and export a cue sheet. And if it's not our music, it still will give you the song title and as much information as it can extract, and then you can fill it in Excel later on. So it's still a big help if it's not all. We hope it's all our music, but if it's not, it's still a great tool, and it's cost nothing.
Very cool. What else you got?
We just released a new music label called Abbey Road Masters, and as the name may sound, it's produced within Abbey Road, and a lot of composers and people, you can rent studio time at Abbey Road, but this lives at Abbey Road, will never be recorded anywhere else. It's original music. And each album, there's 5 albums out now with more to come this year, and each album has a studio 1, 2, or 3 on the bottom to signify which of the iconic studios it was done in. So the bigger, more orchestral pieces obviously are in Studio 1, their huge, big giant room where they do a lot of soundtracks. And then there's the Studio 2 and 3 where Pink Floyd and Lady Gaga and many more have recorded.
Small artists.
Yeah, small artists, and that's distributed worldwide. In the U.S. and Canada is through Killer Tracks, and then the rest of the world is through Universal Production Music, which is the company that we're a part of.
Which I get is it Universal that owns you? Who owns?
Correct. And this is the production music division that's under Universal Music Publishing.
There's a lot of music companies that are out there.
Yes, there is.
And clearly some of them may not do high quality work, others do. Why should somebody consider Killer Tracks?
You know, being part of such a group like that, we really safety for clients, copyright. Making sure that we're not using samples that aren't cleared. Anything end to end from where the music ends up to how it's produced is looked at with a tooth and comb, and so you don't have to worry. There's never you're never going to get in trouble by any copyright laws, or someone's going to say, hey, part of that sample is mine, you have to pay me money. So we really, really strongly rest on our laurels that once you license something, you're never going to have any issues with it.
I can't stress enough how important that is, because music is such a minefield, and there's so many different licenses involved that being able to have clear access to the music that you're posting, because it'll destroy a production if you don't.
Absolutely.
And a lot of new filmmakers don't understand that.
No, it could cost. I was talking to someone at a show, and he's like, "Oh, I use XYZ music," and he's like, "Why should I use you?" And we were talking, and he's like, "Oh, until then, I got a $10,000 lawsuit for using some music from this library that wasn't copyrighted right." And I'm like, "Well, there you go. That's reason number one right there. That won't happen." And if so, even with all our, we're covered. So we want to make clients feel safe, because they're usually doing work for another business, and you don't want to risk your own self, for a client. So we let the production companies know that they're safe, and they can in turn look at their clients. And
how much of your music is new? I mean, clearly a lot of it you've got a library that you're selling over and over, but how much of the stuff do you record new?
We release about 35 albums per month.
35 albums a month?
Yes, more than I think I can listen to all myself if I play them every day at the office.
Oh my goodness.
It's because we have producing in California, and then with our global Universal Production Music, they produce music in France, in Sweden, in London, Australia, Germany. So they all produce a few albums a month. The U.S. produces a few albums a month. So by the end of the month, it's 35 albums every month, 12 months a year.
How do you make it possible for us to find the music?
Everything is available on our website, killertracks.com. And if you're outside U.S. and Canada, it's universalproductionmusic.com.
And for people that want to be able, well, you've already talked about the website, but before we come back to that, what's a feature of Killer Tracks that people don't know that you're most interested in? What catches your eye? I mean, clearly people like the music and they like royalty-free.
I really think our music search, if you have a music reference that's a hit track or something from another music library that you are looking for, you can email it to our office, musicsearch@killertracks.com, and during business hours, within 2 to 3 hours, you will get any song that we have that's close to that, and it's no cost. So it's a great time saver for clients, and a lot of people don't know we have it.
And is there a starting price for licensing a clip?
We've just started some really inexpensive short social media license, so usually things start around $99, and that's licensed in perpetuity with the video that it's synced to.
Very cool. For people that want more information, where can they go on the web?
killertracks.com, and if you're here at NAB, you can come to the Wind Suite 1203.
That website is all one word, Killer Tracks, K-I-L-L-E-R, tracks.com. Andrew Donahue is the Director of Marketing for Killer Tracks. Andrew, thanks for joining us today, and I wish you great success at the show.
Thank you very much. We're big fans of Digital Production Buzz, and it's always great to come say hello.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
I want to introduce you to Simply Workspace. Powered by StoreNext 6, this new storage technology is the answer to how smaller post and in-house creatives can work simultaneously on high-resolution content without the hassle of big facility infrastructure. All your content is stored in one place. There's no moving and no copying files. Just plug in your Macs, PCs, or Linux workstations using a Thunderbolt cable and get to work. Simply Workspace is a professional-grade storage network. Starting at $10,995 for a 24-terabyte RAID system supporting 4 simultaneous Mac users. You can grow capacity and users as you need, up to 288 terabytes and 8 simultaneous users. No rack storage, no fiber channel, just the speed and ease you need. It's called Simply Workspace. That's S-Y-M-P-L-Y, Simply Workspace. Learn more at gosimply.com. Hi, this is Larry Jordan. Thank you for listening to our coverage of the 2019 NAB Show. Now, I want to invite you to continue listening to the Digital Production Buzz after NAB ends. For almost 20 years, the Buzz has covered the media industry for creative storytellers. We look at new technology, new techniques, and the people who turned them into programs. From production to post to marketing and distribution, we focus every show every week on helping you grow your creative business. We webcast a new show live every Thursday evening at 6 p.m. Los Angeles time. Then make it available for download on iTunes, Spotify, Libsyn, and thedigitalproductionbuzz.com. Join the Buzz family and discover what the future of media holds while you still have time to plan for it. I look forward to chatting with you each week.
And welcome back to the 2019 NAB Show, chatting with Randy Reck. He's the Director of Product Development for MTI Film. Randy, thanks for joining us today.
Good afternoon.
How would you describe MTI Film?
We're a full-service post-production facility in Hollywood, foremost, that handles several episodic TV shows and all of the post-production, including color correction, editing for those. But we're also a software company. So we use our own software in our own post-production. And we sell two products, Cortex and DRS Nova.
What got you into the software development?
Originally, we had a need to take care of dailies in a really fast manner, and we were the...
When has any client said, don't take as much time as you want?
Yeah, by sunrise, you better have those editorial files delivered. So we were the first company ever to really create file-based dailies, an entire system that did not involve videotape. Started many years ago with control dailies, and that evolved into the current product called Cortex.
So tell me about Cortex. First, give me a description, and we'll talk about the new stuff.
Sure. It's a window-based software, and we just sell software, not hardware, but it runs on Windows 7 or Windows 10. It started out its life as a dailies package that was and still is doing color correction, audio syncing, all of the dreadful overnight laborious dailies tasks, and it still is quite good for that. However, we've added many extra tools. Our biggest right now is the IMF edit tool. We can generate an IMF, an interoperable mastering format that seems to be all the rage among the streaming services like Netflix. They're only accepting IMFs as delivery formats from post-production. Cortex is hands down the easiest user interface out there for making an IMF. Our team in our post side uses it every day to deliver to Netflix and other OTTs. And we also sell it. We're happy to support our brothers and sisters out there in the industry with this software.
So the other product that you sell is called?
We also have DRS Nova, which has actually been around for about 25 years in one form or another. It's almost become the Xerox of film restoration in that when you say, let's go DRS, we're going to DRS this film, you're going to probably take some older scans from an old movie. You're going to dust bust it, fix the dirt, the scratches, the warps, color, breathing, any sort of issue with the images from older film scans.
Can it only be used with film, or can we use it for like standard def video as well?
It can be used for video, but I think the bulk of the tools have been optimized over the years for everything involving film, all of the physical things that happen to film and then manifest themselves in different artifacts and problems. Like I said, scratches and layer problems involving breathing, color breathing, and dirt, of course. Dirt is the biggest.
Especially on some of those old film prints. So we've got Cortex, which is for the DIT, and Nova, DRS Nova, which is restoration. What's the new news?
So we have a new version of Cortex, a new edition. We're calling it Cortex QC, and it came about from requests from our current Cortex customers, and it's sort of a lightweight version of our Enterprise edition, which does not have the ability to render and do all of the heavy lifting. However, it can read any file and perform all of the QC tasks necessary for checking out everything from the picture to the sound, and typically it's good for delivering an IMF package to a Netflix or Hulu.
Well, in the old days, I remember when we were dealing with tape, we would send a digibeta tape off, and they would run the tape, play it in real time against a recording scope that would indicate if stuff was over or below where it needed to be.
Right.
Is this the equivalent of that, except it's working file-based?
Yeah, exactly. It's very similar, but because it's file-based, we've got the ability to provide just a load of graphical reports. For instance, if you're making an HDR show, we can provide a number of graphs that show what the nit level is, what the luminance level is, what the contrast is, so that a QC person could look at this report graphically and say, not only did this show pass all of the requirements from the network or the OTT, the show actually passed, and here are some problem areas and here are some failure areas throughout the show. So graphically, you get a picture of your episode or your movie, whatever it is, and that media shows all of its flaws, just in living color, and it's just a breeze to say thumbs up or thumbs down.
Well, it's really helpful to the producers so they can see it before they submit it and have it get bounced back in their face.
Absolutely, and we did this because a number of our clients that do have our enterprise software said, hey, we love this. The user interface is great, but we've got a challenge in that the QC job is happening on these same workstations. We need to make new content. Could we have sort of a secondary QC package that doesn't need to render? It just needs to play back and check thousands of little items that are necessary for the QC process.
And how is this stuff priced?
So the Cortex Enterprise Edition is $15,000 permanent license, and it has all the bells and whistles, including Dolby Vision and IMF packaging, dead pixel detection. The Cortex QC Edition, which we're introducing at NAB, is only a subscription model, and it's $1,995 per year. So it's $2,000 a year. You get all of these QC features, all of the abilities that I described, as well as updates throughout the year. We keep adding new bells and whistles.
And for people that want more information about the products that MTI Film makes available, where do they go on the web?
They can go to mtifilm.com.
That's all one word, mtifilm.com. And Randy Reck is the director of product development for MTI Film. Randy, have yourself a wonderful show.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the launch of Cortex QC, and thanks for joining us today.
Thanks very much.
Take care. I want to thank our guests for this hour's show, Philip Hodgetts and Bob Vassar, Andrew Donahue and Randy Reck. Our senior producer is Debbie Price. Our show producer is Paulina Borowski. Transcripts are provided by Simon Says. My name is Larry Jordan, and thanks for listening to the Digital Production Buzz at the 2019 NAB Show. See you next hour.
The Digital Production Buzz at NAB was sponsored by Maxon and by Simply, a global distribution brand.
The Digital Production Buzz at NAB is copyright 2019 by Thalo LLC.